So I'm going to go back to Dream 16.
Okay, yeah.
You had a fight with Kawaguchi?
Yes, that's right,
yeah. It was the mainstream opinion that you won that fight. During the post-fight press conference at Dream, you hinted you were thinking of quitting MMA overall.
How did I not win? How did I not win? Do you know what I mean? And I've been screwed. And, you know, I'm finding it hard to pick myself up and train hard and go for it. And when I do, you know, I get, you know, Kimbo, Butterbean, now this, you know. And I don't know how much is left in me to keep picking myself up. I'm going to go back, talk to my team.
What made you decide to stay in the game?
You know, after something first happens, that's always when it's the sorest. You know, right after that, I really thought I'd won. I really had thought I'd won.
I think a lot of people thought you
Yeah, yeah. So it was a real shocker when I didn't. And you know, you train really hard, and then you don't get what you deserve. And you know, I think I'm quite a fair person. You know, I did lose that or blah blah. And I felt kind of it was unjustified. So yeah, I did kind of think, oh, it's not worth it on that. But you know, you kind of give your head a wobble and get on with it. And you know, I love MMA and this is what I do. So you just got to keep cracking on.
You then took a fight with Mariusz Pudzianowski. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name.
No, that was perfect.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was absolutely perfect.
Cool. First fight you won quite easily. Second fight, again, it said you lost. You had a bit of a rant in the cage, quite justified in many people's opinion. Can you explain what happened immediately after those events, and if you've had any contact with KSW since then, and what's going on with that situation?
Well, you know, straight afterwards, one of the owners of KSW came into the locker room where, you know, I got my head in my hands, kind of like, you know, feeling hard done by, and he came in and he started jabbing and poking me, and you know, obviously very upset, which didn't go very well. So we started to get kind of going at each other.
He was upset with your actions.
Yeah, because I grabbed the microphone and did that, which is why I did it, because I knew they wouldn't like that.
Right.
Because I was highlighting something, because I knew they want to go worldwide. They've been telling me this, telling me that. So I thought by highlighting that and what's happened, you know, I was just kind of standing there, and my trainer, Wes Merch, said, do you want to go? And I thought, well, you know, you just go, and people might say it's a bad decision for, you know, a week or so, and then everyone forgets, and it's on your record as a loss. So, you know, I grabbed the microphone and just did a rant, just because I felt so helpless.
Come on! I thought KSW was meant to try to be serious. If you can watch that back, hand on heart, and call it serious, then
you've got it out there. People picked it up and could see it for what it is.
Had you wished you'd done that previously during your other robberies, such as after Kimbo, after Butterbean?
Yeah, you know, I you know, Kimbo, Butterbean, that you know, I could, you know, it was a bad decision by the ref, but
an understandable mistake.
Yeah, it's a mistake. It was just a mistake, and people make mistakes. So it's one of them. But you know, after Kimbo, kind of that was the same kind of thing. You know, slightly orchestrated, biased. So you know, I suppose I wish I'd done something like that. Not that it would have made any difference with Kimbo. Luckily, this time, you know, it made a difference. I mean, it's no contest, which is it's still not good, but it's better than a loss on my record. So that's something. KSW did contact me, and they talked about me fighting Mariusz for a third time. I said we'd have to sort out some issues, i.e. the oil. You know, he was very, very slippy.
Right.
He'd bathed in oil before, I have no doubt about that, the night before, and then he'd come out in his sweat. That'd have to be sorted. If you're going to make a worldwide organisation and get people to watch, ultimately something like that, even though, you know, you might think in the short term it helps you, i.e. Mariusz gets a win, in the long term it just does nothing for your legitimacy. So yeah, you know, KSW, I kind of mentioned these things to them, and they went away, and I haven't heard much back. You know, maybe later we'll have to see.
I mean, is that something you'd be up for, a third?
Yeah,
fight?
I would. You know, if they address them, there's lots of things I like about KSW. If they address them issues, especially about the oil, if he did do the oil, what were they going to do? Or
Right.
you know, not like, you know, he's got oil and then, you know, I want it known and highlighted before. Well, it's kind of sort out these issues, and I'd like to, you know, once and for all sort Marius out.
How strong was he? He used to be world's strongest man for a long time. He was a very dominant strong man. How strong was he in the ring?
Well, he was statically very strong. So, you know, the first fight we had, I get quite close to him. He gets underhooked, and that static strength of lifting like that. I mean, he picked me up off my feet, and I was fresh with a lot of resistance, but he kind of threw me easily. He's very strong when it comes to that kind of static strength. When it comes to kind of in the clinch and moving and walking around, you know, his heart's going, because he was so big. He wasn't very strong at all. Plus, there was lots of gaps because he's so kind of over made up. So, the first fight, he wasn't that strong, even though statically he was. And the second fight, he was a lot stronger, even though he wasn't statically as strong.
Right, I see.
So he'd done better to have lost the weight for the second fight.
Right. So is that why you had troubles finishing him in the second fight? You think he'd improved that much?
Yeah. Well, I thought his weight helped him improve. I think I made the mistake of, again, I tried to come down in weight. I think I was 125 for that fight, and it doesn't help me generally being too big. I get a good position, and I'm not finishing. I'm not snappy enough. Right. I'm not finishing. I've got the open goal. I just need to put it away, and I'm not doing it. So I think if I do fight Marius again, it'll be I'll get down to 120 kilos. I think that's my best weight.
Right. You've got the next fight in a brand new promotion, SFL. That's against Bob Sapp.
Finally, the beast has come to India.
You mentioned going down in weight for Pudzinski. What's your kind of weight at now?
Well, yeah, as I was saying that about being better at 120, I could see this question coming. I'm thinking, my weight, well, because of the exception of Bob Sapp, him being so big, you know, I didn't want to get overpowered, so I've gone up in weight for Bob Sapp.
So
but this is
opposite direction.
Yeah, complete opposite to what I've just said.
Right.
But yeah, I've actually gone up because I'm thinking I'm 140 kilos now, or just under. Even at 140, I'm slower. Cardio's not as good, but obviously I'm a lot stronger. My cardio's still better than Bob Sapp's.
Right.
Joe, so I can't really get taken out on that. So yeah, for this fight I'm 140, but after this fight I'm going to be getting down to 120.
When and where is your next fight?
It's in Mumbai in India. You can get it on YouTube if you register SFL Super Fight League on the YouTube channel. You can watch it live there. They're putting a lot of money behind it. They're really trying to do everything correct. There's a Bollywood superstar called Sanjeet, and a gentleman called Raj, who's very done very well in the business world.
Nice.
And they've been a fan of MMA. They've got together and thought, "Come on, let's bring it to India. India needs a show and some representation on the MMA world." So they've got together, trying to do everything. I mean, it's completely new sport in India.
Right.
They have pretty much no idea generally what it is. So yeah, they're really kind of promoting it and getting it out there.
So have you been talking to them a lot about the running of the organisation? Because you've got quite an experience with a vast array of different organisations throughout your career. You haven't fought in Strikeforce, you haven't fought in the UFC, but you fought in pretty much every other major promotion going.
Yeah, that's right.
So is that something they've turned to you for advice on?
No, not really. Just me butting into conversations and voicing my opinion quite loudly.
do they seem to be knowing what they're doing?
No, they are legitimately very grounded and open to suggestions. They actually particularly come to me, but when everyone's talking and we've been that, I've asked them questions, they've asked me input, and I gave my opinions, and they were very kind of open and listening, and they really do want to bring it all together and get a good thing going here with the SFL.
That's good to hear. Phil Baroni is a commentator, I've heard.
Yeah, that's right.
The snake had a boiler when he was about to die.
Just swallow this.
Do you have a relationship with Phil Baroni? I believe you've met before.
Yeah, we, me and fellow good friends, we trained together at Extreme Couture in Vegas. We fought on a lot of the same shows, so it's nice to have someone I know who I can put pressure on to say nice things about me.
Yeah, I imagine he will. Your opponent is going to be Bob Sapp.
That's right.
He was a K1 champion. He did do well in Pride at one point. It's gone a bit downhill recently. It seems like there are two Bob Sapps.
Yeah.
If the Bob Sapp that has fought recently turns up, you've got it in the bag. If the old Bob Sapp turns up, what's the plan?
Well, the plan is the same either way. You know, I go at him very hard, and I just put everything into the fight, no matter who turns up. If the guy who turns up, he's just going to roll over, turns up, well, that's what it is. It's the guy who comes to fight. I'm going to be ready to come to fight. So whoever turns up, but that's a very good way of putting it. The kind of, because in his last couple of fights he has been a little bit like that. Whereas, you know, he's had some big wins over some great people, and even some losses, you know, were quite impressive losses, if you will. But yeah, you don't know who's going to turn up, so you've just got to train as much as you can, which you have done, and be ready on the day to do what you do best, which is what I've done.
YouTube.com/SFL is where the fight's going to be broadcast. It's free. When is the fight, James?
The fight's on March 11th. That's a Sunday, and it's at 2 o'clock, I believe. Check your times to make sure, you know, you don't just catch the end of it. But I think that works out at 2 o'clock, and you know, sign up for that on YouTube and watch the SFL. If you follow me on Twitter, it's J Colossus, and on my Facebook fan page, it's James Colossus Thompson. You'll find me there, and what else have I got? Oh, I'd like to say thanks to Extreme Nutrition. They're great. You know, everyone at Olympian's Gym, Wesley the Elking merch, can't fault him. And also MMA apparel. You know, good guys. Check out the site. Get some decent looking clothes.